The following program is paid for by EG Tax. All opinions or statements expressed on this program are solely those of EG Tax or its guests and do not reflect the opinions of News Radio 930 WBEN or Odyssey.
The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930, toll free at 1-800-616-9236, and cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey everybody, this is the Tax Lady, and we're going to talk taxes for the next hour and money, because our bottom line is to make sure that after you pay the taxes, you have the best income and the best income to live on. So that's what we're all about on this show. I'm Esther Gulius, the Tax Lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on the cell phone. You can text us at 716-803-0930. And, of course, I got my buddies in studio, Christopher Fabian. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Esther.
And Tiffany Fabian.
Hey, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you guys. So we're going to talk today about, last week we talked about, you know, with the inflation and things are tough, we talked about last week about how to get tax-free income. And so this week I thought, well, you know, the other side of the sword is kind of like reducing your expenses. And this is where I really hope that people that are really good at this would kind of call in and say what your little secret sauce is to make sure that you have not too much month at the end of your money. You know, because this is really, really important. Because when we do a tax return, you know, we can say to somebody, well, if you do such and such, you won't pay any taxes when you retire. Like, for instance, rolling over from a traditional to a Roth IRA. The only difference, the only thing is you pay all the taxes up front. And so what we do is we actually say, this is what you would save if you roll it over. This is what you save if you don't roll it over. Because the bottom line is that you have money at the end of the transaction.
That's right. That's
Right.
right.
All right, so we're going to talk about kind of like putting yourself on a financial diet this year. And it's really, you know, it's really important because everything is risk and reward. I mean, I want to tell you, there's nothing I'd rather have than
A Maserati?
like, for instance, when you go by that place that has the cinnamon donuts in the morning in the mall, what is that, Auntie Annie's?
Auntie Annie's, and then,
Yeah,
then there's cinnamon bun.
If you talk about risk and reward, I think to myself, I think I'd like that reward. The only thing, the risk is I gained 5 pounds, right? And so everything you do, you kind of, every time you're making a decision financially, it's like blessing and cursing. So it may solve that short-term fix of today, but the cursing is you run out of money at the end of the month.
Right. That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So I'm Esther Gulius, the Tax Lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on the cell phone. And our text line is 716-803-0930.
And
right?
we got a text.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's a long one. Hello. I just want to clarify my understanding. Next year, my wife and I will be collecting about $4,500 a month in Social Security. In addition, my wife has a $588 a month in-state pension, and I take a distribution just under $20,000 a year from my IRA, which I believe are all tax-free in New York State. Can I take another $16,000 from my IRA to avoid New York State tax, because I'll get the current standard deduction in addition, assuming no wages? Sorry for the long text.
All right, so let's think about this. The whole Social Security is tax-free,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
The whole pension that they get, if they're a New York State pension, is tax-free. So if they're taking out $19,000 over and above that, right?
Yep.
Then they would have the first $20,000 is tax-free on a non-publicly funded tax return, pension plan. So that would be excludable as well. So will they pay any taxes?
Not to New York, but
Right, but to the federal.
to the federal, and taking that extra 16,000 out is going to make you pay tax probably on an extra 15,000.
But this gentleman I've been texting with all week, and he can't get it in his head that he's not going to owe New York State taxes.
Okay.
So the question was, does he owe New York State? No, he's not going to owe New York State.
Right.
No.
Really? Do you really mean that really I don't owe New York State? You really don't owe New York State. Are you sure that I really don't owe? Nope, you're not.
And this guy's over the age of 59
all
and a half.
Social Security is tax-free, the state and public pensions are tax-free, and the first $20,000 in regular pension is tax-free.
And I'm sure he's over the age of 59 and a half. The getting Social Security helps us to point in that direction, right?
Yeah, he is. I
Yeah.
mean, if he's the same buddy that's been talking to me all week.
Yay.
Right?
Yes.
So anyway, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930, and a cell phone. And you can see that if during the week you have questions, you text back and forth to me, and I will answer them.
That's right. Yeah.
So-
Even when you're in a boat or driving, well, not somebody else is driving, but you'll be in the car or, yeah.
Wherever, because I really do care.
Yep.
So let's talk about why people get in debt and how to get out of debt. And I know, and if you have been successful in this, give us a shout and tell us what you've done. But looking at a website I looked at today, it's called debt.com. There's like 10 reasons people get into debt. And the first thing is wants versus needs. And I think we can all identify with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, especially ladies with their expensive purses. I really want a Louis Vuitton purse for $1,000. Do I need a Louis Vuitton purse? No. But if you're really trying to get a hold of your finances,
Right.
in other words, getting some money at the end of the month and not spending more and having put everything on a charge card, then you have really got to ask yourself, well, I guess the first part is to say, do I really want to change?
That's right. That's right.
I mean, it all comes down to that commitment.
Yeah, I was talking to a person yesterday, and they wanted to lose weight. It was somebody that, at my other job, and she's like, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight, but I have to do this, and I have to do this. And like you said, you have to make that commitment. It's like a switch has to go off, and it's
where
hard.
you really make the commitment. It is very important for me to get a hold of my finances. And so therefore, for the short run, instead of me making those feel-good decisions and spend money that I don't have, I'm going to modify and only buy what I need and not what I want.
The raccoons have a home.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, Gracie
Oh,
just texted me. Sorry, I'm so excited.
Who took them in?
Somebody took in the raccoons.
Somebody from Wilson.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Her boyfriend, for the listeners out there, has a repair shop, or her dad does, and there were little baby raccoons in the attic, and the mama unfortunately passed away, and so my daughter had been trying to feed them with a baby bottle, and then we tried eyedroppers, and I had syringes. We tried syringes, but I guess they now have a home.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, again, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell
I've
phone.
been texting
You
the
can
wrong
text
people.
us at 716-8030930. So the first thing the debt.com says is we basically buy what we want, not what we need.
You know
right?
what, Esther? I'm a bad person. I realized I've been texting the wrong people. We have two callers. We've got line one, Steve, and there's line two, Polly.
All right, thanks.
So
all right,
I'm
but
sorry.
anyway. And then the second thing is we tell ourselves, we all talk to ourselves, don't we?
We do.
I know I do. Like, for instance, now I am on a diet, right? And I have
Correct.
lost 30 pounds. And so this is very near and dear to my heart. All day long, I say, no, I'm not going to eat this. No, I'm not going to eat this. No, I'm not going to eat this. And it's all risk and reward. And so the risk is that I'm going to be a little hungrier than normal, but the reward is I'm now in a size 14.
That's right.
And if you kind of if you kind of roll that over to your finances, if you take a look at your budget and you go, my gosh, where is my money going? Right? And it's all that kind of risk and reward kind of thing. You can spend a lot of money frivolously, and we don't even realize it. And when we talk to ourselves, like all day long I've been talking to myself about eating, when you talk to yourself about spending money, it was interesting. I was with a friend the other day, and she's also on a diet, and we went to a restaurant, and they had lobster mac and cheese. Now, I want to tell you, the last thing you should eat on a diet is lobster mac and cheese. But I heard her say to herself, well, this is just remarkable. Tomorrow, I'm just going to splurge today because tomorrow I'll start my diet, which is kind of how we all do with finances, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow I won't buy that thing, but today I really do want the new couch. Today I really do want such and such.
Who are you going to listen to? The guy in red on your left shoulder or the guy in white on your right shoulder?
That's
Do you want to hear?
but it's hard.
You want to hear what Steve has to say? I know there's a
Yeah.
break, but let's
What
hear
does
what Steve has to say. Really,
Steve has to say.
Hey, Steve.
Hello there.
Hey, Steve.
Yes, hello there. I just have a suggestion. People should be looking at their cable bills, okay?
I agree, Steve.
How many of those services that you're paying extra for, an extra $20 or $30 a month, do you really use? Do you
You're
really
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Not to mention how the cable companies, if you call them and say, you know what, I'm going to cancel you, guess what they do?
They charge you less.
They do. So it's that phone call where you say, you know what, I'm not going to spend this money anymore. And they go, you know what, we can knock $25 off your bill.
Right. Which is sometimes a good way of, knocking down the bill if you really want that service.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
They come
Thank
up
you,
and say,
Steve.
Well, one more thing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They called me up and they offered me a 3-month free service for a particular bunch of movies. And I realized that I don't hardly listen to any of those movies, so I'm not going to, start paying for it once they call me back and say, hey, it's going to cost you an extra $20 or only an extra $20 a month. So I'm just going to say, forget it.
Well, and that's where we do that self-taught. We talk and we say to ourselves, this would be interesting because then we won't go to the movies anymore and we'll just stay home and spend a lot of money on stuff that we wouldn't have spent money on in the first place. But that's absolutely what you need to do. Thank you, Steve, for your phone call.
Righty, thank you.
Have
All
a
right.
great
I'm
weekend.
Esther Golias, the tax lady. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back on the other side with your comments. How to save money.
We are family. I got all my sisters.
Hey, to us, you are family, and I know we're kind of diverting a little bit from taxes, but actually this is all related to taxes because when you have no money left, you don't have to pay any taxes, but we're trying to help you so that you don't have to do an offer and compromise. We want to help you so that you have a good credit score, so that you aren't overpaying on your car insurance. And I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, with Tiffany Fabian, Christopher Fabian, and we got Polly, who's been waiting, right?
Yes.
Hi, Polly.
Hey there. Oh, my. This is right up my alley. I'm Mrs. El Cheapo. So,
Yay,
for
Polly.
Family, I thought I could talk for an hour on different ways to save money. But I love what Tony said because it dawned on me. My father-in-law, he only watches Ted Turner, the old classics, and he was paying over $100 for cable. I'm like, oh, my gosh. Most people, we lost cable and TV over 14 years ago. And we were not missing anything because you can use the internet for the same.
You're absolutely right. That's a great point, Polly, because I canceled I was paying like $280 a month for internet and all my cable boxes. But my TVs were all smart TVs. My sister-in-law said to me, why don't you stream, Esther? And first of all, I thought, oh my God, what is that? But you know something? I humbled myself and said, Rita, come on over and show me what to do. And she came over. It was so simple. And now I stream. My bill now is $87, and that's all just for the internet.
So, Polly, have you done good without cable for a year and a half or years? Have you done well?
Oh, actually better because mostly like we'll watch like documentaries and stuff. But
Yeah.
you can watch movies. You got to finagle a little bit to know how to like pick up like movies to watch.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's no reason to pay those exorbitant.
Absolutely.
prices
And
now.
here's the whole thing. I wanted to bring up the fact that you basically modify what you were doing. In order to reduce your overall expenses because you want to get a better budget so that you can save money, so that you can put money in your pension plan, so that at some point in time you can retire and live a real life and you don't have to move into a tiny home or something.
They
but
say-
thank you,
Exactly.
thank you.
No,
But-
she's got something about coffee.
Oh yeah, coffee, really quick. Oh, all the Tim Hortons. Just think about it.
Yeah.
If everybody's paying an average of say $3 to $4 a day for coffee,
You're right.
It's about $100.
You're right.
5 days a week,
You're right, Polly.
4 weeks a month that people are paying. Where you know what, buy yourself a pre-programmed whatever coffee maker in the cup and whatever, and you can buy gourmet organic coffee and still save like
Absolutely.
over 50%.
But this isn't it true that you made that decision? You can pass by your favorite coffee coffee provider, and you drive that while you're driving your car. You think, no, I'm not going to do that anymore.
No.
Right?
It
I mean,
adds
you
up.
make that decision way before you get so that you want a cup of coffee. Before you make that decision, before you are tempted, you make the decision. I'm not doing it.
Well, you just do the math, right? You go like, okay, how
Well,
much?
but not everybody does, Polly.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so, even though budgeting is not what people like to hear about, really, I hope we're provoking somebody to say, I'm going to change.
Oh, and then add up the money. How much
Right.
you would save too if you never
You're right.
eat out.
You are right, Polly. You are right.
Yep.
Thank you for
you go.
calling.
All righty, thank you.
All right, I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and you can text us at 716-8030930.
Esther, the old adage, it's not what you make, it's what you keep.
It's what you save.
what you
What
save.
you keep after, because getting old, if you don't die, is a reality. If you stop working and you have no nest egg because you spend it on purses and eating out and high cable bills and overspending your lifestyle, and you aren't able to put any money into your pension plan, and then at tax time you go, how come my tax liability is so high? And you think, well, because you haven't put anything away in your 401k, but I can't afford to because of my expenses. This is what this show is all about, to kind of prick you to think, you know what, I really do have to take a second look at all this.
Yep,
Right?
that's right.
All right. But before we go on, I want to make sure everybody who has a small business corporation, 1120S partnership, or a limited liability company, I hope you understand that by the end of the year, if it was opened up before 2024, you only have to the end of the year to do your beneficial ownership information with the Department of Treasury fraud protection, because if you fail to do it, the fine is $500 per day until it gets to $100,000. What is that, 20 days?
Chris?
20
Yeah.
days, right?
Yep.
So make sure you do that. And if it's a brand new 1120S, brand new limited liability company, brand new partnership for 2024, you only have 90 days.
Yep.
And we are helping people do that. We have kind of what we say,
Departments?
a sale, right?
A
So
promo-
if
a
you
promotion.
if you come to us and you have us do your BOI before the end of May, it's only
End of
$50.
June. End of June.
June, right? May ended yesterday. End of June. The other firms that are doing these things are charging a whole lot of money. We just want to give everybody the opportunity to get it done because we don't want you to get penalized.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And then we are looking at doing a seminar on budgeting and how to beat inflation. So again, if you think that you are interested in this, we want to help you.
Yeah, just go to our website at egtax.com And
All right, now we have another caller, right?
we do. We have Steve again, a different Steve from Lancaster.
Yeah, Steve.
Hi, ladies,
Hi.
and Chris.
Hello.
Thank you. Hello.
It seems you're dancing all around what I do without really hitting the bullseye.
Well, hit
what is-
us, Steve. What is it? What do you do?
It's really simple, and you probably have said it in just different words, but the key word is budget, and a lot of people are afraid of the B word.
I agree.
Budget is nothing more than identifying what you have to pay every single month and identifying it. That's your budget. It isn't restricting anything. It's just what is so what I do. I was taught by this by a brilliant woman. My mother was Mensa, very, very good with numbers. And when I moved out of my house as a kid, I bought a double. I was never going to rent, and she taught me to budget. What she taught me to do was you save your utility bills, for instance, your NYSEG bill or NRG bill for the previous 12 months of the year before. You add them all up, divide it by 12, it gives you an average, and so on and so forth with National Fuel, so on. Anything else you can break down into an average, your automobile insurance, if it's annual, divide it by 12. You get the concept. Then your cell bill, your mortgage, a vehicle payment, add everything up. If you pay your taxes that you pay, if they aren't in escrow, add them up, divide them by 12, get everything broke down to an average. So we get
You are my kind of guy, Steve. I'm going to tell you, you're my kind of guy, because that's exactly how it should work. Unfortunately, what we do is we spend the money and hope we have the money at the end of the month to pay the bills.
Well, Lester, here's
Well,
what
why
I
don't let's
Oh,
take we got
unfortunately,
to take a
hey,
break.
can you hang on? We're going to take a news break.
So hold on to the other
All right,
side.
your
Steve.
wisdom we want to hear. We're going to take a break. I'm Esther Gilius, the tax lady.
I got all my sisters with me.
Hey, to us, you are family, and we're kind of talking about a family issue today, about whether or not you want to really control your finances for the long haul. And I got Steve, who is a great budgeter. And Steve, thanks for listening and holding on. I have a question for you, though, if I might. Do you have a financial goal because you're so strictly adhering to your budget?
well,
Like to retire at the age of 60.
you know what, Esther, I'm very, very fortunate. I am retired, and I retired a multimillionaire due to this budget.
Wow.
I have a net worth.
Isn't that great? And not that everybody's got to be a multimillionaire, right? But the thing is to be able to get a handle on your finances so that you can live out the rest of your days when you retire, not on Social Security. And I don't know if people really understand the fact that Social Security is having its problem. And in the next 10 years, they may start reducing benefits. And if you go just on the Social Security website and read it, they tell you the same thing.
Well, the basis of this is the B word really is just identifying what you have to pay every month. It's not a budget, it's what your costs are. And once you identify that, and let's use a sum of $2,000 that all those numbers add up to, Esther, all right? And you get paid weekly. You divide 2,000 by 4. Every paycheck, yes, there are 5 pay periods in some months, I get it. 4 works, believe me. $500 every single month has to
Right.
go into a checking account. That
Every
you-
week.
All those. What does that do now? That identifies all the discretionary money left over that you didn't know. You didn't know how much money's left over because it's all in one account, and I pay the bill this and I pay that bill, and
Right.
I assume there's a $3,000 left. Now you know exactly. I use this with a young man that works for the state of New York. He's in his mid-30s, has 2 kids. He makes a nice dollar working as a mechanic for the state of New York, has a pension. He also is a Afghanistan vet that gets check of for I
Veterans
forget how much-
benefits.
Yeah. All right. He was throwing all his money in one checking account. He could never get $5,000 that he thought was his money put away. 1 year ago, March, I started this with him. That young man has $34,000 now in excess of
Good for you. That is so great. And actually, that is our point. You know, when you take a look at inflation, and for us to say that it isn't happening would be a lie. I mean, if you've gone to the grocery store, you know how much that little teeny grocery cart is full of. They say that's the most expensive ride that you can have is a grocery cart. And so that's why we want to have a seminar that would help people to get a handle on their budget. And you're right, the B word nobody likes to hear about. But I thank you, Steve, for calling and for your wisdom, and we really appreciate it. And thanks for
and
calling.
I think what Steve's bottom line is have your eyes wide open so you know where the money's going. You know what I mean?
Right, but you know what happens with many people is they charge everything.
Yeah.
So now you have that extra money on the charge card that can round out that shortfall at the end of the month. But what they're not realizing is, or maybe they do realize it, 25% interest is tacked on to that liability. And so then you got to open another credit card and another credit card and another credit card. And so we just want to encourage you to today, when you're alone with your thoughts, think about changing the way you're doing things so that you can have a future.
Right.
Like Steve did.
Yeah, how many times have you heard our clients or maybe even your mother or somebody to say, yep, I was taught don't buy anything unless you have the cash.
Right.
Don't put it on a charge.
And you know, because we don't use cash anymore, right?
Right?
Yeah.
It just all feels like the tooth fairy's going to take care of it.
Yeah, Chris has an aunt who lives 2 houses down from his mom, and they're remodeling their kitchen, and she literally has done it in 2 parts because she will not pay for the other part of the countertop until she has the money in her hand. And
Well, you know, and that's really that old-fashioned wisdom is something that we need to adopt. I think because those days of wine and roses maybe aren't here right now, and you really got to think about you want to save money. You want to live below your means. You don't want to live above your means. You know, the third thing it says on this debt.com is social acceptance, because people seem to like to be with people that are maybe wealthy. And so sometimes what you do is you act like you're wealthier than you are because you're using that charge card.
Yep, that's right.
Right?
Yep.
All right, and we have Jerry, right?
Jerry.
Correct.
Yep.
Hey, Jerry, how can we help you, sir?
I got a question about like a GoFundMe page.
Sure.
I'm retired. My wife works. I'm on her insurance. And the reason being is I get special treatment that costs about $13,000 a month.
Wow.
And from what I understand, I've checked, and Medicare, Medicaid, whatever, doesn't pay for that. But my wife's insurance covers most of it. So I'm in need of like a special wheelchair, probably that's going to cost somewhere around $10,000 or $12,000. I do have some in small investment accounts, so I didn't know. You know, a couple different people told me I should start a GoFundMe page.
I think you should.
cover some of
All
the
right,
medical-
and I will tell you why.
Absolutely.
Because when somebody gifts you money, a gift of money is tax-free. So if you put that need out there and you start your GoFundMe page and people start contributing to your need, then that's tax-free to you. Unfortunately, because the benefit is going to you directly and you're not a 501c3 charity, it's not going to be deductible for them.
Yeah, but that's a small consequence.
Right.
Yeah,
But
have
mean, you should put your need out. If you start your GoFundMe page, let us know, because we will tell people about you.
Yeah, and I have a friend who lives, I think, in Florida, and she's done for some medical. Unfortunately, she just lost her bladder, and she's young. She's only 48 years old, and she's done a GoFundMe, and I've funded a few times, and so it's just really sad.
Yeah,
you
if
know?
people know your need, people are very generous.
Well, my other question is, because I do have some retirement investments, is that an issue at all, or it doesn't really matter?
So here's the thing.
Doesn't matter
Your
with the
medical could be deductible if it exceeds 7.5% of your adjusted gross income, provided you have enough medical that you can then itemize, because you'd have to come over your standard deduction. So, but obviously, the GoFundMe money would be completely tax-free.
Yeah, and it doesn't
so
matter if
that
you have
would be a really
investments.
great way to do it.
And the investments to
but
have
it's
nothing to
not-
do with it.
And if you want to call us, Jerry, you can call us during the week. We take a look at your tax situation with your wife, and we can kind of help you with which way to go.
Right. But it's
I'm
not
very.
an issue. even though I have
Hopefully, you'll get
investment account.
the things you need.
Jerry, to answer your question,
Okay.
I hope I'm answering your question, Jerry. Your investment accounts have nothing to do with the taxability of GoFundMe.
That's correct.
Okay.
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 That was my
Thanks
biggest
for your
question.
call.
Yeah.
Good
God
luck.
bless you.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. You can text us at 716-8030930. Getting back to our caller, our text, I think, a while ago that said if he had Social Security of like $48,000 and a small pension and a government pension, and he takes $19,000 out from an IRA, is he going to have to pay New York State taxes? The Social Security's tax-free. The government pension, publicly funded pensions, tax-free. This is on New York State. The small pension is going to be added to that $19,000 IRA. If the small pension is in his wife's name, she's over the age of 59 and a half, the first $20,000 is going to be tax-free. His $19,000, first $20,000, over the age of 59 and a half is going to be tax-free. So there's no taxability on New York State.
Yay.
Okay.
That was a texter.
I mean, I have to say, for as critical as I can be on some New York State issues, New York State is very kind to seniors.
Yes,
They're
to
one
retirees.
the for states that have taxes. They're one of the most friendliest to retirees.
They're kind
That's
of-
true. I mean, it's true that Florida has no taxes for anybody. But New York State, which is really a high tax state, when you finally do retire, they really cut you some slack.
They do.
Right?
Kind to retirees.
All
and,
right.
And we do all 50 states, and so I witness it each and every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. You can text us at 716-8030930. By the way, if you're getting any letters for verification of your identity, you must answer those letters. It's not a scam. You absolutely have to do it. Or if you're getting any other kind of letters from the state or federal, don't just pay it. Give EG Tax a call and we'll help you with that. All right?
Right.
All right, so getting back to my list here from debt.com, another thing that people do is they watch TV and they have new things that the media people and marketing people are selling, and they think, wow, maybe if I get that crepe erase, my wrinkles will go away. Trust me, they don't. I tried it already. But anyway, I mean, and so what you do is you get sucked into spending money by watching TV. Another thing people do is on an economic bubble. They think they have more money than they do. Like, for instance, what's happened in the last few years with housing. You know, your house you bought for $100,000, your neighbor's house is just sold for $400,000, and you think, wow, I got a $300,000 cushion. Be careful with that, because as it goes up, it can roll back down, right?
That's right.
So,
That's right.
and the other thing is you want to save for a financial emergency. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
They talk
going back
about-
to our guy who's so good with budgets, a financial emergency, a horrible thing is if you have nobody to go to and you have no money and you haven't set any money aside. That's another thing that you want to do a budget for, so that you set aside money, whether it's in a 401k plan or a bank account. You want to have money for a financial
They call
emergency.
it an emergency fund. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
You want to do a break quick?
Yeah, we're going to take a short break, and I'll be back on the other side. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady. Hey, to us, you are family. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, in studio with Christopher Fabian, Tiffany Fabian. We're talking about budgeting. I know that terrible B word, but really and truly, in days of inflation, you really want to have that conversation with your your significant other, and take a look at how to do a better job and live below your means. And so that's what we're kind of talking about today. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. Our text is 716-8030930, and we do have a text. Steph,
Yeah,
right?
it says when selling personal belongings at a flea market or antique mall, how are sales tax and income tax administered? Thank you.
Okay, so if you're selling things at a flea market, you want to make sure that you contacted New York State to get your sales tax number, because when it's a business and you're selling things to make a profit, you have to pay the state of New York their just rewards, and so you don't just collect it without first registering with New York State. Actually, you shouldn't be doing it without registering
I mean,
with New York State sales tax.
Most flea markets or antique malls won't let you in unless you do have a sales tax certificate.
Right.
So you're better off just doing a garage sale like 3 weekends in a row. And this way you don't have to pay sales tax on anything, as long as it is your
you don't
personal.
have a profit motive,
Yeah,
right?
and it's just your personal.
And then how is
Right.
income tax administered? They want to know.
Okay, so here's the thing, and this is really important. If you have a garage sale and you're selling your own personal assets, blouses, underwear, pajamas, old skates, sporting goods, hair
Furniture.
dryers, those kind of things, and you're selling them below what you paid for them, then the sales are tax-free.
That's right.
And you don't have to pay sales tax. And it is such a good way to make extra income. Quite frankly, if you just walked around your house and took a look at all the stuff that's piled up in corners and closets that other people, somebody's trash is another man's treasure, that could turn into money for you, which would be tax-free money.
Yeah.
So we talked about that last week. Garage sales are an absolute great way to make extra money.
That's right. So what if you sell it at a flea market, though?
Well, then again, the assumption with that is that you're doing it to make money, that it's a business. But again, if you bring in your own personal assets, you don't have to, the basis would be higher than what you sold it for. So it's really important that you keep track of what you're bringing in and what
Yeah,
your basis
so-
is. One of my clients, and he's a professional teacher. I think he's a school administrator, actually. And he goes around picking up garbage on garbage day, and he brings it back to his house and refurbishes it and sells it on eBay, and he makes like an extra $75,000 a year selling trash.
Yeah. So this person who's sorry, Chris, for stepping on you. This person who's doing flea markets, it's the gain from it's their basis, what their basis
Right, but
is.
they also would
You
have
have to
to
keep
pay
track of your
sales
basis.
tax.
I know.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the gain that's taxable, and then also, of
But
course, the
you
sales
pay
tax.
sales tax on the whole thing.
Yeah.
At a flea market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. All right, so here's the thing. If you haven't had a budget, think about things that make it so that you think to yourself, I can do this, to get a handle on your finances. And that's something that we will be happy to do for you. There's no charge. But housing, can you move into a less expensive house? Have you thought? Another one of my clients has an Airbnb,
Right.
and she makes like $30,000 a year having people come into her extra room that she did, and that's an extra way of her making money.
That's right.
Right?
Very smart. Very, very smart.
Right. So
And
think
they've
about
been advertising
think
these
about
things
a
like
home-based
crazy.
business. Maybe you want to start a daycare, or maybe you want to start doing. I'll tell you, this is absolutely one of the best ways to make money is to do Instacart.
Yep.
And
You're
you
your
may
own
think,
boss,
oh, what can
basically.
you make doing Instacart? First of all, there's a guaranteed tip. Secondly, you really don't deal with anybody. You just take it to the person's house and drop it off. And Instacart drivers make all kinds of money. Would you say that's true with their Uber drivers, you
No.
guys? Uber drivers don't make crap. Can I say crap?
You just
Say
did.
crap. I mean, they don't make any money. After they take all of those expenses for booking and da-da-da-da-da, Uber drivers and Lyft drivers don't really make any money. But Instacart people make money. So again, if you're looking for a way to make extra money, Instacart. And what's so great about an Instacart driver is like you might be short. Let's say it's the last week of the month. You got bills that you didn't budget for of $200. You can go work as many days till you make your $200 and then don't take any more grocery deliveries.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
So, okay, so that's housing. Utilities, think about insulating your home to reduce your overall gas and electric bills. And so what do you get when you insulate your home, Chris?
Reduced heat, gas bills.
And a tax
And
credit.
the tax credit, right?
Yep.
So they're going to pay you to make your house more fuel efficient. And cable, we kind of talked about this. You can call them up and say, "I'm canceling you." They're going to reduce your payment. Or look at streaming. If you do streaming, all you need is the internet and a smart TV, and you can get all your favorite programs.
Right. And before we go to Paula, but be careful you don't have 10 different streaming services that are
Well, that's true.
overlapping. So you got to watch that when you're budgeting too.
That's true. In
So-
other words, I use Sling TV because that gives me the shows that I want. But I could also there was another one that I could have done, but they were basically, if I did both of them, I'd be paying the fees for both of them. But Sling does it for me.
You want to go to Paula?
Yeah, let's go to Paula. Hey, Paula.
Hey, Esther. I just had a question and a follow-up. First of all, Instacart drivers don't make that much, and it's not a guaranteed tip. But there's a lot that goes into that. They have you driving all over the place. You know, there's gas, wear and tear on your car. But anyway, everything sounds great until you actually do it. My question actually was, though, you said that we could have a garage sale, and as long as we're selling our items for less than we paid for, we don't have to pay taxes?
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So what happens then, or if I say I throw stuff on Facebook Marketplace or what have you, a lot of times people pay you by Cash App. So if I have $600 or more in sales on Cash App, I will have to pay tax on that, correct? Or how does that work?
No. Because when you do your Schedule C, you're going to put your gross receipts from sales in there, and your cost basis is going to be what you paid for it or the fair market value, whichever is lower. And you're not going to be allowed to take a loss. So your offset for your cost basis will be higher than what you sold it for. Therefore, you won't pay taxes.
Also, too, with cash apps such as Venmo and other things like that, you have to keep track of what's personal and what's a business, because on the tax return, you're going to have to separate that out.
Okay, so...
And by the way, I do tax returns, and the people that make money are the people that are doing Instacart.
Well,
The Instacart people make far and above more money than Uber or Lyft. I have several clients that's all they do is Instacart. So, I mean, maybe it didn't work out for you. Maybe that's true, but I'm going to tell you, I can see people making money on Instacart.
Yeah.
but does that answer your
all right,
question
that's the,
about doing?
No, not exactly. So, okay, so...
Well, call us.
Well, wait,
we're there we're there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Let's try to tease it out. Well, go on, Paula. Paula, quickly. Say what.
Okay. So you're saying to do a Schedule C then that puts you as self-employed, and then you're going to have self-employment tax.
It's just a sole proprietorship, okay? And if you get a 1099K or a one of these providers that paid you, third-party providers that paid you, and they're sending you a 1099, just because you're doing the Schedule C doesn't mean that you made any money. You
Right.
put your income in and you reduce it by your expenses.
Thus, your self-employment.
If
So
it's
once
personal,
zero,
if
there's
it's
no
if it's
self-employment tax.
personal assets sold at a loss, you can't take the loss, so you'll zero out.
I getcha. Okay, thanks for your help.
All right, thank
Great
you, dear.
question.
All right, I'm Esther Gillius, the tax lady from EG Tax.
Wanna go to Paul?
If you, Paul,
Wanna
we
go to
got Paul?
Paul
And Paula. Yeah,
Yep.
hey, Paul, quickly.
How are you?
Good.
I was wondering, I was thinking about putting my properties in a trust, What tax ramifications am I going to look at with that?
What kind of property? Is it rental?
Yes.
You have rental property in a trust.
He's
I
thinking
want to
about
put it
it.
in a trust.
He's
yeah.
thinking about
All right. So if you do that, your trust will. Oh, that's really kind of complicated. So what happens is you're still going to do something like a Schedule E on your trust. The net profit is what you'd end up paying taxes on, and you really have to find out why you want to do a trust. So again, I was going to say to our other caller and you, and anybody else, call us during the week so we can spend quality time talking about all your situations. A half a minute conversation over the radio does not really give you quality information because there's if, and, ors, or buts in tax code. So, Paul, call us during the week. There's no charge to talk to us. We'd love to help you, but especially with the trust, you want to make sure that you've thought about all the
And
angles.
the cost basis is a huge thing, too.
Right.
And then some really
So
quick.
call us during the
there's
week,
a
Paul.
text that wants to know about helping her brother or brother-in-law who hasn't filed for a few years. Call me at the office. I sort of specialize in that. I'm Tiffany, 632-7886. A texter said the other New York State senior benefit is Enhanced Star. A texter said her paying your car payments twice a month saves a bit of money.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. There's so many really great people out there who have been, Buffalo, I think, is full of great savers with great ideas. But by the same token, our new people coming up, our young kids, not so much. And they
Right.
could sure use your help. Anyway, we're going to have a budgeting seminar, inflation seminar, busting seminar. You sign up on our website. We'd love to help you. Love to have you come and give everybody your 2 cents on how well you've done as well. Thank you. I'm Esther Gullis, the tax lady. Talk to you next week.
The previous program was paid for by EG Tax.